Okay, for the networking study guide, I think we should play a game. Here is how it goes. The first one to fill in the blank means the other person has to answer why this answer is correct.
Well, since the answers are all in the library slides, finding the right answer is easy. Knowing why is sometimes harder.
Yes, exactly. That is how we can study effectively. If you don't know why something is correct, what good is it?
I guess you are right. Let's keep score, and the loser pays for coffee.
Game on. You need to get ready to pay up.
The Internet is a computer network of interconnected networks.
Well, the Internet is a vast, global network of networks. There are thousands, perhaps millions, of networks all connected that make up the Internet.
Gee, Rosa, sounds like you paid attention in class.
Number 2 is the Internet uses the TCP/IP protocol suite to connect networks.
I seem to remember that a protocol is just a standard. Much like a language is a standard of communication, TCP/IP is a standard of communication across the Internet used to connect networks. The Internet is all about connectivity.
Wow, you also seem to really have paid attention. Let's make this interesting. How about up the ante to coffee and a nice muffin?
Ha! I think you are going to tell me.
Number 3 is the Internet has no centralized control.
Yep, that is correct. The beauty of the Internet is the openness. There is no government body, at least in the United States, that controls the Internet. No central control and of course no censorship. Free and open.
But what about number 4, who established IP addresses and the DNS?
That is ICANN, or also known as the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers.
I remember that. They are the Internet Registrar. They assign domain names and IP addresses. But what was the DNS again?
That was the domain name system. There are servers within the Internet that convert the domain names such as cs.edu into an IP number so the message can be routed. You see, the Internet does not understand anything but IP addresses, so the domain name must be converted.
Data on the Internet is stored on what?
Servers. The Internet is basically a client-server architecture. Your device is a client, which communicates with a server.
I know the next one. Different communication media are fiber optic cable, coax cable, phone line, which is DSL, and satellite signals, which are microwaves.
Which is fastest?
That would be fiber optic because the signals are light impulses. Data moves at the speed of light, which is very fast.
What is coax cable?
That is your cable company service. That is usually a bit faster than DSL, but not always.
Would satellite be the fastest Internet?
No way. That is actually quite slow compared to the other 3. Satellite has to travel enormous distances, and is subject to all kind of interference in the atmosphere.
CenturyLink is DSL. What is that?
That is high-speed Internet using regular phone lines. DSL stands for Digital Subscriber Line. The problem with DSL is that one's actual speed is determined by how far your home is from the central office.
Number 7 is that the information sent over the Internet uses the TCP/IP protocol for communicating with networks.
But number 8, 9, and 10 ask about another protocol for transferring web pages. What is this?
That would be HTTP. HTTP is how pages are requested from one server to another.
Then for number 10, what protocol would encrypt data?
That would be HTTPS. The S means secure, or that is also used as a secure socket layer. The encryption is an extra layer of protection. If someone steals your data, it's useless because it is encrypted.
Number 12 in Internet. The Internet is open to all. 13 is an intranet. That is a private network such as for a company. Only authorized users can access a company website, so that is known as an intranet.
Number 16 is an open network. What is an example?
How about Pinterest or Twitter? All information is shared with everyone once you sign up for an account.
17 is a closed network. Individuals need to be allowed to access information. This is like Facebook or Snapchat. Let's now fill in some blanks. I give you the definition, and you give me the word. Assigns IP addresses to user's router.
That would be your ISP, or Internet Service Provider.
How do servers on the Internet identify networks?
The IP address identifies networks. Your home is a local area network, or a LAN. That is a network, therefore, has an IP address assigned to it by your ISP.
Here's a toughie. Is your IP address that is assigned to you static or dynamic?
It is dynamic. That means the IP address is assigned each time you use the internet. When you log off, the IP address can be used by someone else.
Who purchases big blocks of IP addresses?
Your internet service provider does. They assign the IP to all of their customers each time they use the internet.
If an IP address is permanently assigned, what is that known as?
That would be a static IP address, meaning it never changes. Many companies have static IPs. For 18 and 19, what are the two portions of an IP address?
The leftmost is the network identifier. The second portion is the host.
Who assigns IP addresses to your home network?
An ISP.
We need to know some of the top-level domains. We know that the TLD is the rightmost portion, like .com and .edu and .org. Only outside of the United States do countries use the country code after the top-level domain. For example, .uk is the United Kingdom and .ca is Canada.
That's a pretty good overview you have of top-level domains and country codes. Let's move now to the questions 21 through 29 about bandwidth and broadband concepts.
Okay, what word goes into 21?
That would be volume. Bandwidth is simply the volume of data that can be carried in an amount of time. It is kind of like a water pipe. The bigger the pipe, the more water can flow.
Good analogy. Question 22.
Bandwidth varies by the capability of the transmission medium.
Yikes. What does that mean?
That means wired. The type of wires: Wi-Fi, cellular. There are all types of bandwidth and speed considerations.
Oh yeah. Question 23 then should read fiber optic cable can carry more information than coaxial cable, so fiber has a greater bandwidth than coaxial. But question 24 is difficult.
Nope, not at all. Bandwidth is always measured in bits per second, never bytes per second. If you look at advertisements, it is stated at MBS or GBS. But the B is always lowercase b. That means bits, not bytes. Bytes is a capital B.
Got it. So bandwidth is megabits per second, and now even gigabits per second.
Yep, now you have it.
I want to try 25 through 27. Internet service that is always connected is known as broadband. With broadband you can have multiple devices connected at the same time. But now we have to list 5 different broadband options for 27.
That's easy. We have cable DSL, which are phone lines. Then satellite, which is the slowest. We talked about that before. Then cellular, which is becoming more popular, although still not all that fast. And finally fiber optic, which is the fastest of all.
Wow, you really remembered all of those. I sometimes confuse DSL and cable, and cellular and satellite.
Remember, cell and satellite are both microwave transmissions, but the cell goes to a local tower a few miles away, and the satellite goes way into the atmosphere. So it would make sense that the satellite would not be as fast because it has much farther to travel.
Great explanation.
Now 28, 29, and 30 should be a review for us.
Okay, 28. Internet speed is how fast data travels on the internet to your digital device. Got that? Easy. Then the speed is measured in megabits per second, equating to 1 million bits of information per second. I remember that the capital M means million and the small b means bits. But I don't know 30. Darn.
I'll get that one. Giga means billion, so 1 gigabit is 1 billion bits per second. We have to know our prefixes like kilo, mega, giga, and tera. Let's fill in this grid below question 30. It shouldn't be hard at all, really.
We are almost done. Yeah.
Downloading is copying files from a server on the internet to your computer. In 32, streaming is different. Watching or listening without saving or copying is streaming. Therefore, broadcasting audio or video in real time via the internet is live streaming. Lastly, streaming audio is used to listen to music or radio over an internet connection. I got those down, no problem.
That was great. I'll finish the troubleshooting. Clear your browser history and refresh your browser. Then unplug your modem and router and plug them back in if you are having internet connection issues. Lastly, check your internet speed connection on speedtest.net if you want to know your speed.
Super. And how is speed measured?
I know that. Of course it is in bits per second.
I think our work is done here. See you next time.
Not so fast, Buster. I think you owe me a cup of coffee.
Got to run now. Bye-bye.